Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the video where I'm actually going to take these Sirius Apollo arrows that I talked about in a previous video and actually show you how I build them from start to finish. The first thing I do when I get them out of the box is I'm going to take them out of the package, I'm going to put them on an arrow spinner, and I'm going to mark the end of the shaft that has a wobble. I do find it easiest when doing this is if you have a white sheet of computer paper underneath it. For me, with this dark table and with these black carbon shafts, it makes it easier to catch a wobble. All right, now that I have all my shafts marked, I'm going to get these arrows cut into length. Now that I'm done cutting all these arrows, and I'm going to square up both ends of the carbon shaft, not just the knock end, but also the point end. I believe it's more important to have the knock end be true, but both ends should be true. Now that we are done painting all the ends of these shafts, what we're going to do is take this sanding stone that comes with these Easton Axis arrows, and we are going to create a slight bevel on the inside of the shaft to take away the sharp edge on the inside, and then we're going to stick the shaft into this G5 flip arrow squaring device and continue to work the end until all the paint is gone on either side. Once the paint is gone from the face of the carbon on either side, then we know that our arrow is square. All right, now on to the final part of this arrow build, and that is sticking all the fletchings on. This was the first thing I started to do when I started tinkering with my own arrows. I wanted to just try different things. I'd seen a bunch of the John Dudley knock-on videos about how to fletch your own arrows, and it looks so easy. And for the entry fee of this $80 Bitzenberger, I figured it was worth a shot, because I kept knocking fletchings off of arrows of the ones that I had bought with blazers on them, and then they just kind of started to stack up in my garage, and I had no way to refletch them. So I figured this would be a good way to save me money, a good way for me to tinker and test and tune, and a good way this is what started down the rabbit hole of wanting to work on all my own stuff. And this is, I think, where a lot of people get interested. It's just the arrows. It's like the easiest part, the easiest entry to get into before you start buying a bow press and bow vices and start tinkering with all your stuff and trying different strings and whatever. So this is a right helical that I shoot with. These are some wraps I got from Born and Raised last year on one of their sales. Bohning makes some good wraps. Nock on, John Dudley makes some good wraps. I really don't think it matters what wrap you're using. I just prefer a wrap over than gluing to the carbon itself. As if I need to refletch the arrows, instead of taking my knife and going up the carbon to scratch them off, I can just simply get the decal started with my fingernail and peel most of it off. So to do these, you want a flat, soft surface like a computer mouse pad. That's what this wrap pad I got is. It feels like a computer pad, but I put the wrap down. I lined the end of the carbon up with the end of the wrap. I kind of just push it until it all starts to roll, and then I will lightly press and roll it on. I'll take my wipe that I had, my AAE wipe again, and I will give this one quick wipe all the way up. And I always wrap, so the way the wrap lays over, I'm always wiping against, or I'm wiping with the fold. I never want to wipe back into the fold. I wipe with the fold to get it to adhere down. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to wrap all of these. I have a Bitsenberger jig. This jig is currently set up in the 4 Fletch configuration with a right helical clamp. So I'm going to be using 2 different color fletchings for this. I'm going to do a green and a white, and I'm going to alternate them. I had some extra greens along with a bunch of the whites that I already had, so I think this will look pretty cool. The glue that I use to adhere these is the AAE Max Bond glue. I've used other glues in the past. This is just a big tub, a big bottle that I bought not too long ago. And honestly, I don't do enough fletching consistently to justify the big bottle. I would almost be better off going with these smaller bottles. As you can see here on my clamp, I have a Sharpie mark marked right here, and what that is doing is that's going to give me the bottom of the vein, and I'm always going to put the bottom of my vein with that Sharpie line. So what I do is I take the glue and I put a nice little thin bead of glue on the vein, and then I'm going to use the tip here and I'm just going to spread it out evenly and try to get any air bubbles out that I can and evenly distribute the glue on the vein. Now that I have this, now that it's all glued up, I'm going to then put the clamp onto the jig, get it on these magnets, drop the back of the clamp all the way to the base of the jig, and I'm going to lay the vein onto the shaft from the back and slowly slide it up to the front. I'll use this Q-tip right here to get any excess glue that pushes out. It just makes it easier for cleanup later. Probably sit here and hold this for 15 seconds. 20 seconds. And then rotate it 1 click. Grab my green, stick it in, go to the Sharpie mark, glue. Nice little thin bead. No, come on. A nice little thin bead, not too much. You don't want it oozing out everywhere, but you want to make sure you have just enough on there. Spread it out, get any bubbles out of there that I can. And again, go to the base of the jig, start at the back, go to the front, a little bit of pressure. Clean this. It's not a lot, every now and then you'll get a little bit of glue coming out. I like to keep a whole handful of Q-tips ready for this, it just makes it easier. Should be enough. All right, and click it. Grab let's clean a little glue up. All right, now let's grab a white one. Again, go to the Sharpie mark. Let's put on a little bit of glue. Spread it out. You don't want to add too much glue because then it just makes a mess. But you want enough glue on there because too little glue, the veins will come off. Alright. That looks pretty good. They're all evenly spaced. No excess glue anywhere. And once I get done gluing the fletchings on, this is a process called tipping and tailing. Some people use the same glue, other people use a different glue, but essentially what you're doing is you're just putting a dab of glue on the end of the fletching to keep the ends from peeling up. Do it on the front and then again on the back. I've used way too much on this one, but you can always use a little bit less. I'm just making a mess right here. Just kind of clean it up best I can. Ugh. There we go, one down and another half a dozen more to go. go. First arrows after the build. Alright, let's go check it out. So this is at 53 yards. I'm not disappointed in that grouping at all. And I can almost get my hand all the way around them. So I haven't been shooting that much ever since I about dislocated my thumb in February. So for me to shoot a group like that at 50, I'm pretty happy with it. Guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button down below. Hit that subscribe button. I'm Jeff Cordero. Thank you for tuning into this arrow build in my channel. We'll see you next time.